students are more or less involved in hands-on activities. We basically believe in strengthening the concepts of the students.
Don't you think it is going to be difficult for somebody to cope up with the regular examination pattern from 8th standard suddenly? Welcome to Yellow Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters. Today, we have Miss Ankita Banerjee from the Heritage School, which is in Noida, and let's speak to her and understand more about the school and the experiential learning part in specific. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Santhan.
Well, to begin with, for all the parents who are not fully familiar with what experiential learning is, can you take us through it? And can you also explain what it is like for a student to learn in this methodology?
Okay, so experiential learning is basically an inquiry-based learning. So the students are more or less involved in hands-on activities. So instead of like referring to a set framework of curriculum, bound within that box of a set few rules, a set few textbooks, we encourage our students to explore. So there are multiple textbooks that we refer to, multiple sources, and more or less involving them in more experiences rather than giving them like a set few ways through which they can learn. So we basically encourage our students to go ahead, explore the world, explore experiences and do more of hands-on activities. So that is what is experiential learning for us.
That's interesting. But, ma'am, at the end of the day, Heritage School is a CBSE syllabus school. So, how do you think this CBSE blends with the experiential learning methodology that you have adopted?
Okay, so our school is a CBSE board school, but we basically believe in strengthening the concepts of the students. So till grade 7, we don't have formal summative examination. So till grade 7, like for example, comparing it to a parallel conventional school, instead of giving the students like a bound syllabus, a bound curriculum, and examinations just to assess that particular chapter or that particular syllabus, we more or less give our students the freedom to explore a topic. Right. So instead of giving them, like, for example, they are learning about light. So instead of just learning a few definitions and a few question and answers, we let them explore, go places, go to museums, say, for example, to do hands-on activities, experiments based on that. So that instead of their concepts, their exploration, their understanding of the topic becomes much stronger. So basically, we are building a foundation for the years ahead. From grade 8 onwards, we again have examinations. We slowly introduce that to the kids as well. So by then, their concepts are quite strengthened already. So it actually helps them blend in better with the curriculum of CBSE.
Great. While the concepts are very clear to the student, but if the student is not exposed to this orthodox method of education or the examination till 7th standard, don't you think it is going to be difficult for somebody to cope up with the regular examination pattern from 8th standard suddenly?
So it's not a very sudden, it's not that after grade 7 suddenly they come to grade 8 and they have to give an exam. So we gradually, even when they come to grade 7 from grade 6, we gradually increase the level of their the amount of involvement in that particular topic. So a child of grade 7 will not only refer to books and the materials that is related to a student of grade 7 level, but we even introduce concepts which is a grade higher even, so that when they go to grade 8, since there are no examinations till 7, so they will be able to even comprehend higher order thinking ability questions as well. So it's not that they are just not writing anything in class also. So we encourage very open-ended question answers also. We let the students inquire into various concepts. We make them do research work. And that's how we basically kind of make them more like open to the actual possibilities in that subject. So instead of like making them kind of, just instead of giving them just that pen paper test, we are actually assessing them in various parameters. So that's how their concepts are strengthened even further. And in grade 8, when they come to grade 8, they have block tests. So initially, which is of 25 marks. So they are introduced, which is of a very, we basically take them very easy. It's not that and after the block test, they have the term end examinations, term 1, which is of, higher amount of marks. So that's how slowly we introduce the examination, so that there is no fear per se.
Got it. But generally, a class obviously will have students with different learning abilities, some with great
Yes.
and some with not so great. So, eh, in this experiential methodology, how do you gauge the learning abilities of various students, and what is the method of evaluating someone's ability to understand and learn?
Okay, so our classrooms are very open classrooms, and we encourage a lot of questioning by the students instead of the teachers. So in our classrooms, the teachers do not ask questions to the students. It's the students who ask questions to the teachers till their concept is totally, reinforced in their minds. So basically, and since we do not have one particular exam to give, so we have that flexibility of extending the time period till the child is 100% like fine with a particular topic. So of course we do have a time bound syllabus and a curriculum that we look forward to, but of course we try to keep that along with the understanding of the child. So we usually take some time, give a little buffer time before we move on to the next topic. And the children, due to the amount of questions they encounter and ask, so kind of all their doubts, and young minds do have a lot of questions to ask. So that is how every doubt is basically cleared. And the way we give them assignments also, so we do not assign them based on answer this question or this fill in the blanks or match the following. We have very good inquiry based method of engaging the students also. So we give long term research work, observation of particular phenomena. So that's what basically makes them very confident in what they are doing.
Got
So
it.
that is how we go about it.
Great. I'm sure students must be having a great time in learning maths, science, and other subjects in experiential methodology. But how about languages? How differently are they taught? And especially in this methodology, how are different languages taught?
Okay, so yes, the kids do have a lot of fun in our school, that is for sure. And especially for languages, so we have a robust literacy program, right? So we focus a lot on literacy, and literacy curriculum is made in such a way that it is not just strengthening that particular language for the student, we make it multidisciplinary. So in literacy, for example, they are studying something about, say, the human heart in science. So we are going to integrate maybe a poetry about, heart, or a story about blood donation, so that it's they are not just learning about that particular topic in science, they are even integrating it with their language. So, and same goes for their second language as well. So, and it's not just writing and reading that we assess the student in, there are multiple parameters in which the students are assessed. So based on the different abilities of the students, the different learning, the different kinds of learner that they are, we assess the students based on like comprehension, reading and writing, and even listening skills, which is I find it's a very unique skill that usually schools do not assess. So we even assess students on listening, and there are even listening comprehensions and such kind of things that the students they really enjoy doing that. And literacy classes, let me tell you, is one of the most of the favorite class of the students. So they do look forward to literacy because there are various fun activities, and as we do not have any textbooks in our school, so usually in literature, in I remember in my school we used to have like novels and books. So instead of that, we give multiple worksheets, multiple research work, make your own poem, make your own story. So it kind of engages the student a lot, make a brochure and such things. So it's very exciting.
Interesting. And I could gather an impression that there's a lot of learning that's happening beyond the classrooms, for which infrastructure is also equally important. So, what sort of physical infrastructure does a school have in order to ensure that this experiential methodology is fully practiced?
So infrastructure wise, our school is like way ahead of its, of the surrounding schools that we have. So we have, very, not just talking about classrooms, even the, even inside the labs, and we have a makerspace lab, which is like way ahead of its time. So we have a lot of advanced technologies in our school. especially the interactive boards. Every single classroom has an interactive board, and through them we basically teach the students, that the sky is the limit. In an interactive board, the kids can see things in 3D, and it makes much easier to make concepts, very easy for the kids through these technologies. And we have well lit and spacious classrooms, and especially let me share a point about sports. We have, a very, state of the art sports facilities for the kids, and multiple choices of sports that the students can look forward to.
Interesting. And one last question before we wind up. With the growing technology, I'm sure all the teachers also have no choice but to cope up with the new age technologies like AI and the chat GPT and stuff. So generally, how are teachers trained in heritage? What sort of support is given from the management to update yourself and make your teaching abilities better?
So that reminds me of a very recent workshop actually that we've had on AI actually. So yeah, the teachers are regularly trained on updating themselves. We also have updated a very, AI app which is there in our interactive board. So it's like a very, very up to date version and a very cutting edge version of its, of its type. And we have been trained on that as well. And we do include AI in the teachers creating, very advanced material for the students, or to make things easier for the students. And but we do also make sure that there is some individuality and there is some, authenticity in providing that to the students, because even we can't totally solely rely on AI. So even though we use AI, we make sure that there is some amount of human touch given to that as well.
Absolutely. That's very interesting to know. And thank you so much for coming forward and sharing all these thoughts with us. I'm sure it
Thank
certainly
you.
will be of great help for parents who are looking for good schools in and around your locality. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot.